Hey everyone, I got another knife to review here for you guys. This is a Leek, Kershaw Leek. It's got the S30V blade that's stone washed. Honestly, I think that this is a either love it or hate it knife, and for me, it is a hate it. Some people are gonna hate me for saying that because they love their leeks. There's some people out there that, have like hundreds of leeks and rainbow leek and titanium. I don't think there's titanium, but stainless steel leek and Sandvik steel leek and all kinds of blade steel leeks. And this is the S30V with the G10, speed safe. So but for me, when I got the knife, I got this in a trade. I was very, very underwhelmed by this knife, and it's probably because if I'm handling knives like this, this is like the standard that I hold things to. Obviously this knife's gonna pale in comparison. Again, you got a 3-inch Wharncliffe or modified Wharncliffe blade, the straight edge. That for me again, it's another strike because it's something that I don't personally like. Some people love Wharncliffe blades, and that's totally fine. It's a very small form factor knife. I think it would fit in the pocket really, really nicely if it's tipped down, and it's very slim. Even compared to say Dragonfly, doesn't have as wide of a profile. It kind of just hides in your pocket. So for a everyday EDC type thing, it could be a cool blade to have. But here's one of my problems, and I'm just getting right into it in this review, is when you look at this knife here. This is set up right now for tip down carry. Here you have the tapped out holes on the tip up. Right here is where, if you're carrying tip down, this is where your pocket's gonna sit, on the knife. Or in your pocket. So if you figure like this much space between the bottom screw here, if you were to set it up tip up, you got this much of the knife hanging out. So just give you a little bit of perspective. I mean, that is over a third of the knife handle hanging out of your pocket. And so you've got this stupid black thing just hanging out of your pocket. And I don't know. For me, that's ridiculous for such a small knife. If I'm carrying a small knife, it's not something that I'm wanting to carry tactically. And this is not even close to being a tactical knife. I mean, what am I gonna do with this knife? This is great for cutting paper and whatnot, but beyond that, this is to me this is what the knife has been for me so far. It's a knife that I like to open and close. I like snapping and open because it's fast. This is the closest thing that I have to a switchblade right now in my collection. I don't collect autos because they're illegal here. So anyway, here, quick comparison to some of these other knives. This is my Leatherman Charge, and I'll show you why I have this knife or this multi-tool out here. My Dragonfly G10, Sebenza. This is the Spyderco Volatin. Awesome knife. This completely dwarfs the the Leek. One of the things I was just saying why I got this Charge out here is when you look at the blade stock, obviously when you get a multi-tool, you're not looking for a huge blade or whatever, and this blade on the Charge on this side here is actually thicker. And I feel more stout than this blade on the Leek. The Leek is a really, really weak blade. Just overall when I'm playing with the Leek, it just feels extremely weak. And I think it's mainly because I'm playing with knives like a Strider with a nearly 5mm blade stock compared to this sub 2mm blade stock. It feels flimsy. It feels like if I look at it the wrong way, then it's gonna bend or something. Something like this, 301 compared to this knife. I like the heft. I like how it fills up your hand, and this thing kind of shrinks in there. Even though it's a 3-inch blade, but it just feels so insubstantial. It's got like little jimping here and there, but it's not anything that's gonna lock your finger in or whatever. It's useless unless you're flipping. You know, when you're flipping, maybe the jimping helps to grip your index finger or whatever. Oh, I was gonna say one thing about this. You know, the tip-up pocket clip that I wish that Kershaw would change. Not that I'd ever get a leak again, even if they made the change. You know, they have this safety lock here. Basically, it's this bar, if you can see that, in between the liners. You know, so when you push it down, that bar moves up and down, and it basically, when it's closed here, this bar comes over the blade, so the blade can't open. Okay, but again, it's pretty. I mean, your blade's not going to open up in your pocket more than likely, and so if they just got rid of this thing and moved up the pocket clip holes here, you know, then your pocket clip would be able to sit, or your knife would be able to sit in your pocket like here versus like way down here, you know, which is just ridiculous. So that's another little beef that I have with this knife. So, you know, in general, if I were to, you know, this is like a $70 to $80 knife because of the S30V, and you know the liner lock too is just absolutely tiny. You know, you compare that with, here's my Volatin, you know, this huge stainless liner here. I mean, this thing is beastly, you know, and this little thing looks like aluminum foil, like that's holding this frame lock. Obviously it's stronger. I'm being a little bit sarcastic here, but yeah, I would never get a leak again. I'm definitely gonna get rid of this. Doesn't look right in my collection for sure, and I don't want to be snobby or anything like that, but it's just not for me for sure. So I think there was a reason why I basically tried to stay away from Kershaw like the plague. I'm not a huge fan of their designs. I'm not a huge fan of the materials they use in general. Their zero tolerance line is awesome. You know, I'm really impressed with this knife. You know, the 551 here. I mean, these are, for me, this is a knife that I want to carry. This is something, this is a toy that I like to, you know, flick open. And that's kind of what I was doing all day. Just kind of, you know, this is like therapy in a sense. You know, I just open and close it and just over and over again kind of thing. The repetitive motion and sound. So anyway, oh, one other thing, you know, about, it's got these little, the thumb studs act as a blade stop. Well, they're really tiny, really uncomfortable to use as thumb studs. They kind of just poke into your thumb as you're actuating it, you know, and the flipper works totally fine. But here's the one thing I hate about Speed Safe, at least on this one. Even on my 301, there's a little bit of, you know, that vibrating from the torsion bar. You know, this one too, it's even louder. And I think you should be able to hear that. You know, it's really annoying. You know, if I'm gonna have like Benchmade Axis lock, you know, the nitrous lock that I had a couple knives like that, the nitrous striker and the Benchmade barrage and mini barrage. Those springs didn't make any sound. You know, those knives were super solid. You know, this one I tightened the pivot and there's still, you know, it's not even so much that there's blade play. It's the fact that the knife is so thin that I almost feel like it's flexing in my hand, so it feels like blade play. But there's not really necessarily any wobble in the knife. So anyway, I'm kind of just, pardon my French, bitching and moaning about this blade just because I don't really like it. So anyway, those are my general impressions. Leave your comments down below. I know some of you guys can probably hate me for, you know, railing on the Leek so much, but yeah, I don't know. That's just my opinion. And yeah, so just let me know what you guys think about it down below. All right, thanks guys. Bye.